What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome back. We're here with some more NFL DFS picks and lineup advice for tonight's single game showdown slate. Monday Night Football, Indianapolis Colts, Pittsburgh Steelers. Somehow this game is on the schedule in week 12 for a primetime slot, but it's here and we got to play it. So, welcome. I'm Brian Jester, co founder here at Occupy Fantasy, single game $1 million winner. What we do in these Monday and Thursday showdown videos, we talk about the injuries that impact the slate, low risk, high risk lineup construction tips, strategies, angles, leverage spots, everything you need to dominate a showdown slate. And this game is extra special, 39-point total, short spread, Indy a small favorite. And there'll be a lot of different angles to play it. So before we get started, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I have been saying this since NBA season started, that because we're putting out multiple videos per day for different sports, sometimes the YouTube algorithm doesn't necessarily provide you this video even if you liked it in the past. So the best way to make sure you see it in your feed, if you do like these videos, is to make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Get notified when we go live. Give us a thumbs up. We appreciate it. Lets us know to continue to make the content. Helps others find it as well. Any questions, you can always comment on the video below. Any specific showdown thoughts or any questions about this slate, I'll monitor the channel throughout the day. We'll get back to you. Any other questions, you want to chat with us, you want to sweat out the games with us, want to get in-depth answers, join our Discord server, occupyfantasy.com/Discord. All right, let's get into it. Colts, Steelers. We got a fun one. So let's talk about the injuries that impact the slate. Not a ton of major ones. But as we go down the pricing board here, Kylan Granson, tight end, who's been playing a decent amount of snaps lately, has been downgraded to doubtful. So he's probably not going to play with an illness, some sort of illness going around the locker room. And again, remember, they don't designate between COVID, non-COVID, so we don't really know what the situation is. But in addition to Granson, there's a couple defenders who are going to be out as well for Indy because of this illness. And with Granson out, that means we got Mo Alley Cox, who's going to be the starting tight end. But the guy who's been receiving the most receiving work when he's been on the field has been rookie Jelani Woods, who is back tonight, by the way. Missed a few games, but he is back tonight. Hasn't played since week 9, but he'll be on the field. And without Granson, Woods will be a popular option in this pricing range at just $1,400. All right, Chris Boswell remains on injured reserve. Matthew Wright will kick for the Steelers tonight. And the biggest injury in my eyes is the injury to Jalen Warren, who, if you remember coming out of the Pittsburgh bye week, there was talk that he might even take over the starting role. And he was earning his reps to the point where Najee was only handling 50 to 65% of the running back snaps. He was injured early last week, left the game. He will not play tonight. And when he left last week, Najee Harris played a season high 92% of the snaps. The third string running back, Benny Snell, only 4% of the snaps last week. So 92% of the snaps may be an optimistic projection, but either way, we should see Najee with way more snaps and opportunities than he had seen with Jalen Warren in the lineup. And to that point, Najee actually looked like himself last week. I know the box score doesn't necessarily tell it with 4.5 yards per carry, but just passed the eye test. And if you look at Pro Football Focus's grades, had the best rushing grade he's had last week all season. So maybe that foot injury he had earlier in the year, he's over it now. Now he gets the extra boost with Warren out of the lineup. And we should see just a monster workload for Najee Harris tonight when Pittsburgh has the ball. So, and that's it. The only other spot I want to point out here is that the Pittsburgh wide receiver 3 slot, remember they traded Chase Claypool to the Bears a couple of weeks ago. Last week, both Gunnar Olszewski and Steven Sims, both $200 on DraftKings, ran 19 snaps each, ran 19 routes each out of the slot. So they were splitting last week. Either way, both these guys are great high-risk plays at $200, help save some salary. Might only see a couple of targets, but again, $200 is not. That's about all you can ask for. So just keep that in mind, especially for the largest contests. All right, let's talk about low-risk lineups first, though. 50-50s, double-ups, head-to-heads. Just have to beat half the field to double your money. Obviously, if you've read our showdown guide, the lock up all the scoring mechanism, both quarterbacks, both running backs, that's in play tonight because we have 2 workhorse running backs, Taylor, Pickett and Matt Ryan, Najee Harris. Now, there are different ways to play this, and still as of 10 a.m. this morning, I'm not entirely sure what the best way is to play it, but trying to get these 4 guys into your lineup make the most sense because it is a 39-point total game. The defenses get extra boost to their projections, the kickers as well. When we see totals below 40, Running backs hit at a higher captain and MVP rate than other positions, at least compared to higher total games. Kickers and defenses are much more likely to sneak into the optimal lineup. So keep that in mind. I would try to get at least 3 of these guys, but probably 4 into your lineup. Play a kicker or defense, maybe 2 kickers or defenses. And if you want to play one of these guys at captain, you'll probably have to play either Jelani Woods or one of those Pittsburgh receivers we talked about in flex to round it out. Not sure that's the best way. Again, still unsure, but try to get these 4 guys, probably 1 in the captain spot, or if not, captain, a kicker, or defense to make them all fit. Over on FanDuel, it's a similar story where obviously we can't fit all 4. That's impossible, right? 500 per player. That's just not something we can do. So we have to leave 1 to 2 of these out. And again, lower total game, I'm totally fine leaving out the quarterbacks here when we have 2 workhorse running backs. So if you play these 2 guys and you play both kickers or a kicker and a defense, let's say we play McLaughlin and the Colts defense, 12.5 per player. We could fit in Pickens. We could play a Pittsburgh receiver here. Or let's say you like one of the quarterbacks, you could play them instead and punt the 5th position. Different ways to play it, but getting a kicker or defense, maybe 2 in there, at least both running backs, is I think the way to play it on FanDuel tonight. Now, the more interesting ideas tonight come from high-risk contests. Leagues, satellites, GPPs, exponential payouts. You have to be a lot of people to get a lot of money. And let's go back over to DraftKings. So I said earlier, running backs are optimal captains, more likely in lower scoring games. So the best way, especially for small field GPPs, build around that idea. Running backs, defenses, kickers, receivers who can get there on targets. We have one underperforming tight end in tonight's game, and that's Pat Freiermuth, who, again, it's rare for tight ends to make our underperforming tight end list. Those are lists where guys who have seen a lot of targets and air yards recently but haven't necessarily scored a touchdown. And you look, we have 12 targets, 7 targets, 7 targets, 9 targets, 2 targets, 9 targets, 4 targets. Hasn't scored since week 2, so he's due for a touchdown. And if he keeps getting the opportunity like he has been recently, he will score. Let's hope that tonight is the night. So playing Pat Freiermuth as a captain is a great way to fit in a lot of those running backs and quarterbacks at the top, or multiple kickers and defenses. Freiermuth, underperforming tight end. And then Colts receiver. Where is he? There he is, Michael Pittman. Expensive, won't be as popular tonight because of his price tag, but he just missed our underperforming wide receiver list. So 2 ways to play it. You either go all in heavy on the low scoring game, which is what the field is mostly going to do. And we really like that idea for smaller contests, smaller GPPs. But for the largest contests, the easiest pivot for tonight's game, if you've watched these videos, we talk about different ways to pivot. We talk about playing underdogs more heavily, pivoting away from the popular values, playing lower owned captains. But the other way is to flip the game script. If the field is expecting one thing, flip it to another. My $1 million win in the Super Bowl was the field expected a high scoring game. I built some of my lineups for a lower scoring game, and the lower scoring game hit. So tonight, when the entire world is on this game being lower scoring, perhaps you can make it a more higher scoring game by not playing defenses, not playing a kicker, playing wide receiver captains, playing quarterback captains. The field is not going to do that. So it's a really good idea tonight, especially when we have target funnels with Michael Pittman, Paris Campbell, George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Pat Freiermuth on the other side. It can definitely win tonight. And the nice thing is about flipping the game script like that, let's just say you play Michael Pittman at captain. Even if we're wrong and the game scores 38 points, he can still be the optimal captain with 8-9 catches or he gets in the end zone. So that's the best part about that. You're flipping it. You're flipping the game script. But even if you're wrong, you can still win, which is the best of both worlds. So that'll do it for this video. I think it's really simple, right? We know who's going to be popular. We know how the game script is expected to play out. We got the workload for Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris. Makes it really simple. If we're talking about FanDuel just really quickly, the running backs are going to see outrageous popularity at MVP, Taylor and Najee included. So going back to that flipping the script, it's very rare to get 2 quarterbacks who won't project as top 2 MVP options as far as popularity goes. So playing Kenny Pickett or Matt Ryan, surprisingly, is great leverage on a site with half-point PPR scoring. So consider those guys in the largest contest as well. All right, for more in-depth information, our writer Bismo cranks out the daily plug every Monday and Thursday for the showdown slates. He'll give his overall slate notes, go into more detail than I can here, give rankings for each contest type, low risk, high risk, small field, large field, lineup construction tips for those 3 contest types on both FanDuel and DraftKings. Tons of information, way more in-depth than I can go in these videos. That link is in the description. It's posted by 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern at OccupyFantasy.com. Our model is up and running, ranks every player for both sites. Projected ownership for both sites as well, ultra important when you're building showdown lineups. And then our Occupy Fantasy lineup builder has been up and running since this morning. Build up to 300 lineups using our optimal lineup criteria. So before we get out of here, make sure you are subscribed. If you made it this far, you probably like at least some part of this video. So if you want to see these types of videos again and you're not subscribed, again, close to half our viewers are not subscribed, just rectify that. Subscribe to the channel. You'll get notified when we go live, upload any new NFL or other sport videos. Give us a thumbs up. We appreciate it. It helps others find the video. Any questions, comment on the video. I'll get back to you today. Or join our Discord server, occupyfantasy.com/Discord, to chat with us and other members of the community. So Brian from Occupy Fantasy, thanks and good luck in tonight's Steelers and Colts showdown slate.